Hi. So in today's video, I will be telling you about the chapter from my book entitled Hypnosis. So I'll focus on feelings and thoughts on grasping the moment when I realized, oh, that feeling is probably not mine, and that thought is probably not mine. Uh, yeah, based on memory, that I go through memory rather than grasping it in a given moment when it's actually happening. So if that's something for you, then stay tuned and off we go. So when working at McDonald's, everything goes back to McDonald's. When working for at McDonald's, I had a moment when I just bent over the window at drive-through, and I don't know, I gave the receipt, or maybe I took the payment, and I thought, oh, what a handsome man. And when I had that thought, then the feeling occurred too. But at the same time, my situation was that, well, uh, it was quite difficult because I was discovering witchcraft, and because I was experiencing people being quite unfair in that working place for me. So yeah, uh, you know, I had the same when the guy from Glovo came. So the person who is delivery man. He came around. He was shorter than I was, and I have seen him several times. I even talked to him when I smoked during the break. So all of a sudden, I looked at him and I thought, "Oh, what a handsome man!" And the sentence was precisely the same, and I didn't get that. Like, how could I even think something like that when he was never my type, right? So. Yeah, and even at my father's funeral, there was a thought, oh, what a handsome man. So I thought, okay, this is not mine. And I think, that I think the most clear example was for me, the one from the past when I met Damian and I was at the party at the village who asked me to dance. And then Darek showed up, and I spent the entire summer thinking about Darek and wondering when would Darek call me, when would Darek speak to me again, when would Darek, I don't know, do something. But I know it. But I didn't have any stronger feelings for him. It's like, you had this all mental clutter and all those mental, repetitive, empty, unnecessary thoughts, but the feeling wasn't behind it. But back then it occurred like, it seemed to me that, yeah, that like, yeah. So therefore, I believe those thoughts were not my thoughts. Yeah. And then I had a recurring situation with regard, having actually the boyfriend for like, I don't know, very, very short period of time that was coming. So he was never my type. And I don't get it. Why could I even start seeing somebody who was never my type? So when I met his best friend, I actually liked his best friend more. And yeah, and then was Mati, and when I met his friend, I liked his friend more. And then there was Przemek, and who was a painter, an artist, and I like his friend more. And even when I worked in Holland, then I supposedly liked my boss, but I don't believe that, because at the same time I actually liked several other people. So those type of things, in front of you make you look like an inconsistent person. Like you're confused, you don't know what your feelings are, you don't trust yourself, and so on and so on. So there's a lot to that, but it's not true. Your feelings can be navigated, can be controlled with the use of covert hypnosis without you knowing about it. And then you are the one that looks like oh my, there's something off here, right? Yeah. And I had another situation when I was shopping in Holland, and it was like an open market, so there were a lot of clothes, and uh, the salesperson approached me, and he had a very big mirror, and he just took out the outfit for me, and uh, I kept on staring at it because it was the pattern of the snake's skin, as if, So the pattern and the type of green really fitted me. So I really loved it, but the point was it was too open. I mean, here, yeah. So I never worn such a big neckline, and um, I knew I wouldn't wear it because of that neckline, and I started to feel to have a feeling of loss. And you know, a sentence that occurred in my mind, that it's nice, and I thought to myself, yes, it's nice, but I think still, like, why do I feel a loss? And then I think to myself that I was a stripper. But I know that. It's something I don't have to think consciously to myself, because I know I was a stripper, and still my type, of dressing up would be very normal. It wouldn't be out of, ordinary. It wouldn't be, extrovert, or not so much really. So, and then in my mind, I still go and look further, like at maybe for a date. And it's really something outside of me, because I know it for a fact that in a date, still, I don't open my decollete that much as this outfit he showed me had. And I still didn't understand how could I feel a loss. It was like, 15 euros or 20 euros, so I could still afford it. And still, I knew it, I wouldn't wear it, because it was not functional for me. It has to be comfortable in a way that I feel movable, I can move, and don't have to worry about having, half of the body uncovered because I moved, right? So, I had a feeling that it was not my feeling. And as I started to question that feeling, then, yet another question appeared, like, then how does a feeling of loss occurs in your body, occurs in you? So, um, and this is precisely what happens. If you recognize your feeling as not your feeling, then you're going to search further in you, like, where does that given feeling occurs in your body? How do you experience it most of the time? And they try to adjust that experience to what you remember from, that feeling. Uh, yeah, and this is more or less how I know. Um yeah. That not all my feelings are my feelings, and not all my thoughts are my thoughts. Yeah. And I had the same situation with my flatmate Justina, and I went to my sister to borrow tarot cards, because at that time, when I was discovering the work of occult, the work of witchcraft that I didn't know before existed. So as I was learning from witches online, just grasping the basics, listening to whatever art was there, and I just assumed that if I would learn to read tarot, then I would be able to channel people as people channel me. That was wrong, But even though at that time I didn't want to be read by anyone, but I went to get those tarot cards, and I sat with my flatmate and I started to practice, supposedly. But what I think happened here was that I think she read me, because she was clearly channeling me. I didn't even want to touch the cards, and she grasped that too. So she just took out a few of them, and then she asked me to gather them together when I was cleaning them. And she also wanted to do fortune telling to me very, very much. And she also even, was able to tell me some basics of fortune telling. So actually, she was a little bit further than I was, and I think it was just an illusion that she wanted to present. Uh, so basically, the reading was about her new life and new beginning, and she just sent me the feeling of jealousy. And yet again, I was in my mind thinking, this is not my feeling, this is not how I feel it. So, yet again, a new question appears like, then how do you usually feel it, and where do you feel it? Yeah. So yeah, and she planned to open her tea shop or tea cafe, and she just got a stipendium, so some finances from scholarly results. Um, and I think obviously she lied because, like, few days ago, maybe 2 days ago, I just watched the video about an evil eye that is based on, feeling such strong jealousy to someone that you can cause harm to them. So after that reading, where she sent me the feeling, she just knocked on my door and told me that, she argued with her entire family and her dad was coming around. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. I just didn't believe it. So she knocked on the door and she said, oh no, he's not coming anymore because now it's all right. Uh, yeah, I think it's just a storytelling. And during that time, as I was, wanting to be a good person, then she would just come and try to discourage me in various ways. Like, she would tell me to go to collect a parcel for her to the frog shop. And she told me that because she didn't feel like doing so. So I just stared at her with this belief that she said that. So she told me, oh no, because, and also my legs hurt. So I went to pick up the parcel, and, other time I had to go to the pharmacy, or I had to buy her a sandwich at McDonald's at night, or after work, of course, I worked there, or borrow her a chair, or, even register her to a doctor from the family, so to say. Um, yeah. So this is what I think was happening here once you try to build the set of values for you and try to live with those new values for you. Then somebody else was trying to, change your approach and change your attitude to life. Because, I started to slowly discover how does occult work, even when I was moving out from that flat. And I just came around and I was cleaning the room, and somebody sent me a photo. Okay, just leave it, just go away. You don't have to clean it like perfectly. And I wanted to clean it better, much better than than when having that fault. So I stayed, and as I stayed, and all of a sudden I started to feel so hot, or very very hot, so that I would leave. That was my impression, that somebody wanted me, even with that simple, tiny, stupid, irrelevant, so to say, thing, to leave a room a little bit messy and to leave somebody more work because of it. So in a way, to act in a responsible way. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, Piglet is for sale and Amelia is for sale, and the price of Amelia is changing. So if you want to have a better deal, you better hurry up, and you'll find all the info in the description of the film and on my website, on my Facebook and Instagram accounts. And if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching.